I'd like to introduce Moena, and she's one of the principal dancers with the Grand Ballet of Tahiti. And today we're just going to be sort of comparing some of the similar movements that we have in Middle Eastern dance and Tahitian dance. In Tahitian dance, I noticed that there's a lot of movements that require a rotation of the pelvis and the hips. So, Moena, can you show us the fa'arapu? And this is just a very tight circular movement, very contained, close to the center of the body. Okay, so in Middle Eastern dances, we also have a movement that requires a rotation, not so much a tilting of the pelvis, but pressing the hips out, away from the center. So the feet and the upper body stay pretty centered, and it's just the hips revolving around. And they do use a lot of the pelvic rotation in Middle Eastern dances too.
Hula?
The hula, yes. And this is a vertical figure eight, and she's going out and upwards. Okay. So this is a very common movement used in the Tahitian dances.
Yes.
And in Middle Eastern dance we have the reverse.
Yeah.
And this is also a vertical figure eight, but it's going the other way. So I'm going out and downward. And it is often called a Maya. Maya.
Maya.
Yes. Okay. So those are two similar movements. They're just reversed. We also have the ruru.
Yeah.
Ruru. It's a vibration shimmy, and she's also using her knees. Her knees are going back and forth, and her feet are very grounded.
Yeah.
And
But we try to not move this.
yes,
Only this.
yes, we want to
Yeah.
isolate the upper
Yeah.
body, right? So it's very similar as in Middle Eastern dance. We have what they call an Egyptian shimmy, and you're just lifting the rib cage, and the hips are moving by the knees moving back and forth. And then you can also tense up the knees so that they're going a little bit faster, and then it becomes more of a tighter shimmy, a vibration. I noticed that in the Tahitian dances, they don't really use the upper body very much. It's completely isolated, and all of the hip work is where all the action happens. So I want to show Moena some of the movements that we use in Middle Eastern dances for the upper body. And I don't know if that's like a taboo thing in the Tahitian styles, but it's something that we do in the Middle East, and we have circular movements with the chest. Okay, so we do circles. And we can reverse that. Yeah. Yeah. I did notice that they also do undulations.
Yeah.
Yes. So she has a very amazing undulation. It's very controlled, and she's got good muscle control in there. So that's more of an isolated undulation. And then we have where it includes the whole spine, which is like a body wave. So you start with pressing the chest out, up, back, down. Yes, and it creeps all the way down, releasing the pelvis. Yeah, so all of these movements that we can do in place. We can travel. We can do it flat-footed or on the balls of the feet. So again, with the Tahitian dances, they do a lot of things that are very flat foot, you know, if it's just a side-to-side hip movement, or they also go up on the balls of the feet, and they could do the same thing by just lifting the heels. So that's another similarity.
The fa'arapu, we did the pei.
Oh, the pei, yes. On the pepe, she accentuates. It's the same as the fa'arapu. It's a circular pelvic movement, only she's accentuating the back. So it's lifting the tailbone up towards the middle of the back. Yeah. And that one takes a little while. Baru. That's another one that's very similar to Middle Eastern movement. In Egyptian style, the varu is with the knees straight. So Moena is doing it with the knees bent. She's bending the knees and she's pushing the hips out, so she's creating a more horizontal figure eight. And then the Middle Eastern styles, especially Egyptian, they keep the knees a little bit straighter so they don't bend so much into it, and they just keep it up here. Okay, so it's almost the same thing, only the Egyptian 8 is a little flatter and the varu has like a little dip in it in the center. Yeah. Another thing that's really beautiful about the Tahitian styles is they also like to layer a lot of the movements. So they don't just do a fa'arapu in place. She's adding some fancy footwork to this with a figure 8, a horizontal figure 8. Nice. So she's up on the balls of the feet, and one is slightly in front of the other. And push to the left, pushing to the left.
Yeah, that's it.
And the key I've noticed to the Tahitian style is to really make it big. It's very external, as opposed to Middle Eastern styles, it's very internal. In the Tahitian styles, they have these locking movements where they lock to the side, to the, side, back, side, front.
Yeah.
So through the legs, she's creating this movement by alternately straightening and bending the knees. And she's pressing her hips to the side, to the side, back, side, and then pushing the hips forward. So that is a box step, and in the Middle Eastern styles we also have a similar movement, a little more contained in the center. So we push out, pop the belly out. So it's more of a locking motion than to the other side and tuck. So it's got a more aggressive look to it, like it's got a little punch to it. So lock, 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 lock. We have plenty of movements that are very similar, and Moena, I've shown her some of the belly dance movements, and she just picks them up so quickly, and she's just a natural, beautiful dancer. And I want to thank her for sharing everything with us, everything that she knows. And so now that we've talked about some of the similarities and differences in our movements, we're going to play a track by Isam. He's our percussionist in our show, and I'm going to show Moena how the movements in relationship to the music, how you can place them within a drum solo. Okay, so I just demonstrated to Moena some of the movements that we do in Middle Eastern style, how we layer, some of the similar movements that we talked about earlier. Now she's going to perform a little bit for me with the Tahitian otea, which is just strictly percussion, all the drums, and I'm going to try to follow along with her. So go easy on me. Okay?